my dear friends, when we read the end of John's Gospel, we hear in it how Jesus worked so many signs, so many wonders, that John said that if all the books were written about all the things he had done, the whole world could not contain all the books. So imagine that John is saying that, Jesus did so many things that it would be impossible for us to contain it. But he said, these were written so that you may come to believe that he is the Son of God. And Matthew's gospel, in a certain way, is a gospel that deals with fulfillment. And what we have happening here is a way of the gospel being fulfilled. So what is said in the Old Testament is now fulfilled in Jesus. So he'll open the eyes of the blind, he will open the ears of the deaf, he will let the lame walk, he will raise the dead, and so on. From the prophet Isaiah and from many of the other prophets who spoke about the wonders of the Son of God. So Matthew presents us this morning with Jesus speaking against three tongues. So he reproached the tongue of Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum. The two first ones, Cherubim and Bethsaida, these are tongues that were mixed with not only Jews present, but a lot of it were the pagan cities. But we have coming home near to him, near Nazareth, is Capernaum. And Capernaum was a kind of place that was proud of the city, proud of the achievement, and they're proud of their relationship with God. And Jesus said, you think because of your relationship with God that you'll be raised high into the heaven? He said you'll be cast down. And why would you be cast down? Because you refuse to believe. So Jesus gave a comparison of three tongues that he had worked so many miracles. And he said, look at all the things that I have done in these three cities, three of them. And he said, if these things were done in Tyre and Sidon, and also done in Sodom, during those times, they would have repented. So he said they didn't stand a chance. Sodom and Gomorrah, for instance, they didn't stand a chance. They didn't get much of a warning. They didn't see the great miracles. God, yes, warned them about their behavior and they didn't change. But Jesus is saying, if they had the opportunity to see all the works that God has been doing through him, they would have put on sackcloth and ash as a sign that they are changing. Just like in the book of Jonah, when Jonah preached and the people of Nineveh repented, they covered themselves in sackcloth and ash and weeping and bawling before the throne of God, asking for mercy. So Jesus is saying, and Jonah did not work such a great miracle. There wasn't any great miracle about Jonah more than he preached to the Ninevites and asked them to change. And Jesus said, here in Capernaum, here in Bethsaida, here in Chorazin, the greatest opportunity is presented to you. The greatest of preacher, the greatest of the word. He is here present. And he is not only speaking, but he is also performing miracles and wonders, but you refuse to believe. And then he said, it will not go as hard against the other tongues that would have repented if they have heard the message, like Sodom and Tyre and Bethsaida, and Sodom and Bethsaida, not Bethsaida, Sodom, Tyre and Sidon. If they had heard the miracles like these other tongues had, they would have repented long ago and turned to God and be saved. So Jesus said you would not escape judgment. Jesus is at pain because he came to bring a message. And the worst thing they can do, I will tell you, they did not condemn him. They did not criticize Jesus. They did not chew him out his tongue. They did not stone him. They didn't try to kill him. Look at it. They didn't do the worst thing to him. But the worst that they could have ever done is to ignore him. To say what he is preaching does not matter. And Jesus is at pain because he is being rejected by being ignored by the people to whom he brings the message. And we have to be very careful ourselves because we can become very complacent. In fact, sometimes we are too complacent where the words of Jesus or even the teachings of the church is concerned. We just ignore them. A lot of our teachings that people just don't care. People don't observe, for instance, no particular great feast days except if it's a Sunday they come to church, most people. We can see the reflection here. People don't gravitate towards the sacraments, for instance, the sacrament of reconciliation. People adhere to abortion and all the various things that go, unethical things that go with it. So they just ignore. They just look at the church and say, we'll do our own thing. We don't bother with you. And Jesus is saying that we better be careful because judgment is coming. And when it comes, it will not go easy on us because we have heard everything. What a wonderful thing to have the Eucharist. What a wonderful thing to have the Word. And he said that you have these and you have more, and most of all, you have me. So there is no excuse to change and to turn to me and do what God will for us.